Aloha, my name is Nancy Kerner, and I'm a holistic health practitioner, author, intuitive, and facilitator of women's circles and retreats for over 3 decades. I love my family and witnessing people break the shackles of fear and pain into love, prosperity, peace, and infinite possibilities.
This lead pencil. There's not a single person in the world who could make this pencil. Remarkable statement? Not at all. The wood from which it's made, for all I know, comes from a tree that was cut down in the state of Washington. To cut down that tree, it took a saw. To make the saw, it took steel. To make the steel, it took iron ore. This black center, we call it lead, but it's really graphite, compressed graphite. I'm not sure where it comes from, but I think it comes from some mines in South America. This red top up here, the eraser, bit of rubber, probably comes from Malaya, where the rubber tree isn't even native. It was imported from South America by some businessmen with the help of the British government. This brass ferrule, I haven't the slightest idea where it came from, or the yellow paint, or the paint that made the black lines, or the glue that holds it together. Literally thousands of people cooperated to make this pencil. People who don't speak the same language, who practice different religions, who might hate one another if they ever met. When you go down to the store and buy this pencil, you are in effect trading a few minutes of your time for a few seconds of the time of all those thousands of people. What brought them together and induced them to cooperate to make this pencil? There was no commissar sending out orders from some central office. It was a magic of the price system, the impersonal operation of prices that brought them together and got them to cooperate to make this pencil so that you could have it for a trifling sum. That is why the operation of the free market is so essential, not only to promote productive efficiency, but even more, to foster harmony and peace among the peoples of the world.
Ground control to Major Tom. Ground control to Major Tom. Take your protein pills and put your helmet on. 10. Ground control 9, to Major Tom. 8, 7, 6. Commencing countdown, engines on. 3, 2, check ignition, and may God's love be with you. This is ground control to Major Tom. You've really made the grade, and the papers want to know whose shirts you wear. Now it's time to leave the capsule if you dare. This is Major Tom to ground control. I'm stepping through the door, and I'm floating in a most peculiar way. And the stars look very different today. For here am I sitting in a tin can, far above the world. Planet something I can do. Though I'm past 100,000 miles, I'm feeling very scared. And I think my spaceship knows which way to go. Tell my wife I love her very much. She knows. Ground control to Major Tom, your circuit's dead. There's something wrong. Can you hear me, Major Tom? Can you hear me, Major Tom? Can you hear me, Major Tom? Can you hear? Am I floating on my tin can? Planet Earth is blue, and there's nothing I can
You know the day destroys the night, night divides the day. Try to run, try to hide, break on through to the other side, break on through to the other side, break on through to the other side, yeah. We chased our pleasures here, dug our treasures there, but can you still recall the time we cried? Break on through to the other side, break on through to the other side. I found an island in your arms, country in your eyes, arms and changes, eyes that line. Break on through to the other side, break on through to the other side, break on through, oh, oh yeah! Play the street, week to week, day to day, hour to hour. Pay straight, deep and wide. Break on through to the other side. Break on through to the other side. Break on through, break on through, break on through, break on through. Hey, 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 hey,
Aloha, everyone. Oh my goodness. Yes, we just had a miracle. Allison had some challenges and now we have a new one. Give us a thumbs up if you can hear me okay. Wow, wow, wow. That's kind of indicative of where we're at right now. Amazing. And Allison, I assume you can hear me or you'd be waving your arms in the air. So this is such, she gave me a thumbs up. This is such a miraculous journey we're on right now, and it can be very, very confusing. And so, this is why we have the show to help sift through what the media is saying and what is being said by Q, because I follow the plan of Q. So there we go. We're up and running back on Rumble. Hopefully everybody can find us. Oh, good. We found HM54. I believe that's Marianne. I get confused with these other names. Oh, so welcome, aloha, Bud, and her woundness. Her woundness was so happy. She found us first, and she was early and excited. And then we had to take that Rumble down and put up a new one. So, or actually, not we, Allison. And welcome back, Allison, from her trip. She had an amazing trip, and we have a very educational show and enlightening show and futuristic. We're going to do whatever we can to help you to prepare for what's coming, which is a huge transition. And I'll go into more of that as we reveal the educational parts and also have some fun, because you know what? Life is meant to be fun. We are not designed to be in a constant state of fear and panic and stress and poverty and, trying to make ends meet the way that we are. And this chapter of our history is coming to an end. And I, for one, as you know, so excited, 36 years waiting for the United States oil for money and war fiat dollar, not only in the US, been used around the world, controlled by the elites, and they are done. Goodbye. Vamonos. Get your ass out of here. We're sick of your crap, lying to our friends. Oh, DJ, she says, I caught you live. So good to see you. And Kimberly, good afternoon. It's still morning here, but that's all right. Oh, that was Wendy. Never mind. Aloha, Wendy. I can't bring up over the Rumble comments. So Clearly Wellness, that's Allison, if you're wondering. And her woundness is going to Mexico November 28th, not living in fear. Absolutely. I hear you. That's a very interesting date, 28th, 29th, 30th. Yet, we do not go by dates. Already we're seeing that the bondholder who said, you won't be asking that silly question about when's the RV anymore after the 20th. And here we are, it's the 21st. And we're still asking, when is the RV? And yet it's not up to us to know that. You either trust the plan or you don't. You either ask for help when you need it, because this is a stressful time. And that's why we need communities and friends that we can get help from, and we can give and offer help to. And I want to give a shout out to a couple, let me get my notes here, to a couple of beautiful, powerful women who donated the 5 billion. They donated, and I'm sending double your 5 billion. I went ahead and ordered some more, because for every $25, you will get 2 of these. Isn't that incredible? And Mark Z says his sources have continuously said the agro is good and speculated to go for 330,000 per billion. And it's our gift, my gift to you as a donator of the show, supporting the show. We really appreciate you. I know that Allison needs new tires. She's driving on bald tires, so every bit helps keep her roof over her head, food on the table, and we really, really appreciate you helping to support Allison to be the producer of the show, because without her, we wouldn't be here. There's no way I could manage all of this myself. So thank you, Allison. Everybody send her some love. So until I run out, double your agro, double the 5B. 5 billion, that's what it stands for. And it's a good idea for you to be diversified in your currencies, like the Iraqi dinar. Hello, that's going to be a good one. And the Zimbabwe Zimbonds, you know, those 100 trillions speculated to go for $30 million. Why are they doing this? The Bolivar, the Venezuela Bolivar, the Iranian Rial, or Indonesian Rial. There's so many. And you can actually, when you do donate, if you donate through Zelle at my email address, visiondancer50@gmail.com, which 2 of you did. And we really appreciate that, because I get penalized by using PayPal, and they take off a couple of % for everyone that we order. So all the money goes back to Allison when you donate there. So it's really, really cool. And so I started talking about the importance of community. And I want to give a shout out to the last 2 donors, Karen Snyder and Sandy Strenberg. And I apologize if I'm not pronouncing your names correctly. Aloha, Colleen. We need each other. We need community. And this has been my life work for the past 36 years, to enter into community, to learn how to take turns listening without interrupting. It drives me bonkers when people interrupt and talk over each other, because I have one good ear and my brain can only assimilate one person talking at a time. So it's a good practice to take turns sharing and not interrupt the person who is sharing, and to be able to affirm her word, whatever she's sharing, because everybody needs a witness to what you're going through right now more than ever. And so I want to give a shout out to Belinda. She and Sandy got together, and there were 2 women in Florida talking about what they're learning watching the Truthers. And then there were 4 of them. And now there's 6 of them having dinner, talking it over. I love that. Truther conversations face to face in a restaurant, wherever. And it doesn't matter where you are connecting, whether it's in a chat or, you know, in a community. This is the most important thing we can do, because the cabal, the elites, the Illuminati, they wanted us divided, separated. That's why they locked us down and said all that nonsense. And their pandemic of COVID, they saw what Donald Trump was going to do when he came in, and that was he was going to rip the Band-Aid off of all those redacted documents around JFK and the truth. Those are coming to us soon. So everyone will be on the same page. Who did it? What happened? And JFK survived that attack and went on to live his life in an island with his family. So if you think that everybody looks like a Kennedy on Fox News, you know, you've got Jesse Waters, you've got Kayleigh McEnany, you can see some resemblance of these people in that. Could the Kennedys have been planning this for the last 6-7 decades and infiltrating the corrupt, horrific people that were running the world, the top 300? And how come it took so long? Because you've got to get to the roots. You got to cut off the financial head of the snake. You've got to arrest people, put them through tribunals because they committed treason. They did satanic worshiping. They have done child trafficking, the biggest moneymaker over drugs across the world. Oh, speaking of the world, what is space? Is it up outside where we see stars? No, it's the inner space. Iceland, not Iceland, Antarctica. What is going over there? We need to know what the lands beyond that we're not allowed to go to have within them. What magical, powerful technology has been created for us to be able to sail through our lives with ease, not on these rubber tire vehicles and pumping gasoline. We've got natural energy of the earth and the ethers. And I first learned about the ethers when I had my spiritual awakening, found Unity Church in 1990, and started learning about the energy that we have to put our thoughts into the ethers so that we can telepathically send love, send peace. Our thoughts are our prayers. That's why it's important to me personally, and if you choose to do this, that's up to you, to be a metaphysician, to transcend fear, to transcend poverty and lack and illness by focusing on the truth about you, and that is you are powerful beyond belief. They didn't want you to know this. They even created religions that were, just taking the good stuff out of the Bible, manipulating it, adding, withholding. All of that nonsense will be revealed in the future. I don't know when all that will be coming out, but the Catholic Church and what's under it, and the child pedophilia, the sacrifice of babies, etc. Unbelievable stuff, right? I can't even imagine that I'm talking about this. However, there's too many whistleblowers that have come true. And when Trump did his world tour, I forget what that's called, the capitulation tour, the Vatican stepped down, the Queen of England stepped down, because that's where the corporations were all held, in London, not in the United States. And so Washington, D.C., that many of you know, foreign and domestic, that was a domestically placed entity, this Washington, D.C. city, and it's gone. It is going away. And I was actually listening to my husband loves Doug Casey, and he had Charles Flynn on. I actually wanted to grab a clip from that, but I didn't get to it because we have been pedaling as fast as we can. And here's what Flynn said, and I'm just going to share that vision that he shared with you. He said, imagine Donald Trump, his first day in office, walking by the FBI building and pointing to it and saying, that building is going away. It's gone. It's done. So that's about cleanup and having the cojones to be the person to take down the deep state that has been running the world and creating havoc in our lives, in our relationships, and having so many people brainwashed over this, especially since Obama went in, but all this time, to call racism and Nazi and Hitler and all this crap, while in the background what they're doing is creating 9/11 events, inside job. Hello, wakey, wakey. Oh my gosh, there is just too much for me to cover here right now. Yet one of the things that I've been really, really passionate about is the Federal Reserve, because I've known about that for 36 years. And we do have later in the show an educational piece on that so that everyone can learn who created it and why it's not a part of the United States government. It's very good. And that's one of the first things that I learned. And I couldn't wait. And I've been waiting and waiting. I never thought it would happen. I gave up hope that the strings would be pulled and the curtain would come down. I know Dan Scavino posted on Facebook, about Trump. And I said, pull the curtain down. And then I saw somebody else repeat that right after that on, I don't know who it was, but it might have been Elon. I don't know who it was, but they said, pull the curtain. And I went, oh, boom. So you know what? There's no mistake. We are connected. When we need some information, it is given. That's the only way that I've been able to be here like this, because of the connection. And Allison operates the same way. When we need something, we clear our fear, we clear our anger and emotions, and we go within and we say, okay, I expect to find this problem resolved now. We speak it into existence. And a lot of people say, oh, all those Q people, they're just trying to create a metaphysical reality where all this stuff happens. Well, I say more power to you if you're a metaphysician who transcends that fear and problems and finds the solution. So speaking of solutions, we do have a new LifeWave video to share. Is that right, Allison? You've given me a nod. Okay, I'll see you. Well, she looks like she's pulling it up, so I'll give her a moment. She says 1 second. Thank you all for finding your way over here to Rumble. So exciting. And when she has that ready, she's got it ready. We're going to go ahead and hear this testimonial because people tell me the stories about the healings that people experience, their self-healing through light. Good stuff. Play it, Allison.
Hi, I'm Carla.
I'm Brenda.
And we just wanted to talk to you a little bit about our experience over the last several months with the LifeWave X39 patch. My husband and I, along with our parents, started wearing the patches in September of 2023. And the first thing that we noticed right off the bat, probably within 3 weeks, was the elevated energy that we were getting, which my husband and I desperately needed. We were helping my mom move from her home of 30 years, and that energy was very helpful. A friend of mine got her son Matthew on the patches, and he now is able to stop taking one of his pain meds for his neuropathy. And both of our parents have had great results with the X39 as far as pain. My mother had broke her shoulder, and that pain is gone, and my mother-in-law had back pain that is much better.
For myself, I've had fibromyalgia for 26 years, and it's pretty debilitating sometimes. So I have a lot of trouble sleeping, and it's a big struggle. But after wearing the patch for 4 or 5 days, I started sleeping better. Within a week or week and a half, I was sleeping at least 75% better. And rest is very important for inflammation in your body, and which helps the fibromyalgia. So I am loving it. I shared it with a friend who was in the hospital, nearly on her deathbed. Her daughter's a nurse, checked out the information, said, let her try it. Within 2 weeks, she was back in church. And now she's telling everybody that the patches are her miracle patch. So because it just gave her life when she was nearly dying. So I am amazed at the results, and I am a true believer that it can help. So all we can say is, let's get patched up.
Oh my goodness, isn't that awesome? One of the reasons that we're going to show a video on a short clip, let's see if I can give Allison a clue to share that next, and that's the medical one, that short video that Shar sent over. Thank you, Shar. Thank you, Dar. Love you, girls. You've been with me since, January 20. Well, we've known each other for a decade, longer than that, 15 years or so, and through Isogenics. And then they are the ones who helped me when I saw the election fraud. And I posted on Facebook when I found the community, the Truther community, and they were the first ones who let me know that Kennedy was still alive. So I really, really appreciated it. And 1 second, Allison. No, it's the one who owns the medical, that gentleman who does that Dar sent over. So hope that helps, who owns the medical. So pardon me, I'm just getting all kinds of pop-ups right now. Oh my goodness. I want to thank my dear friend, Lanita. She got sober a year or two before me, and she was in the 12-step meetings, and that's where we met 35 years ago, when I was sober for about a year, and I was looking for women's meetings, and I found some wonderful candlelight women's meetings. Thank you for your donation, Lanita. It just came in. So we appreciate you very much. And I'll get that in the mail this afternoon for you. Really appreciate you guys. If you think $25 isn't very much, it is the world to us. And maybe $50 a tire for Allison. I don't know. My goal is that we can help her to get some good, safe tires for her travels this winter. Okay, so Allison has this video. I think it's a perfect one. I was starting to say that as a holistic health practitioner, I am under strict guidelines, and so are all of us up until now, to not declare any disease that the big American Medical Association is saying, like if you have fibromyalgia, for example, we can't say that this product cured it, healed it, we diagnosed it, etc. So those days are coming to an end, and I can't flip and wait because Big Pharma has all these 2,000 medications, etc., and they don't work. They do not work. Their treatments do not work. They might do something temporarily. They do not heal the body. They make it worse. And I've been following and studying this since I was in my late 20s, mid 20s, 27, that sugar is one of our biggest issues. Sugar actually creates inflammation. And that's why I'm so big on myself being a recovering alcoholic and cocaine addict, then switching over to sugar. You know, it's like changing seats on the Titanic. It doesn't help to become addicted to sugar, yet that's been my lifelong journey. I was raised on sugar, red licorice, soda pop, all of it. That's why my teeth all rotted out so young. And I really look forward to her sharing this video with you. So when you're ready, Allison, play it.
So we're going to talk about who owns the medical system. I think this is really important. You know, with all the cancer research, Rockefellers, Rothschilds. Because of the Flexner Report of 1913, the Rockefellers took over the medical system with the Rothschilds because they are funded by the Rothschilds. So then who owns the cancer charities? Interesting. Rockefellers and Rothschilds. After they bought out the medical system, they also got the banks and the schooling system. So you see how these monopolies are existing and we don't realize? So then we get into who runs the Walk for the Cure. You know this? You always see this. Was like every month they have some walk and they're donating money and raising millions and trillions of dollars. Where are they going? Who knows? Rothschilds and Rockefellers. Interesting. Who pays actors to walk for the cure? Rothschilds and Rockefellers. So it's all staged. It gets into a deep rabbit hole. And then someone's going to ask, what are your sources? Well, here's a great book, Murder by Injection by Eustace Mullins. He breaks down all the monopolies of the medical system, including the Rockefellers and the Rothschilds who run it all. And then all the companies underneath, you know, like the AMA, CDC, they're all controlled by the same people. So this book breaks it down. That's why we have to stick to the natural ways, research these things, and be aware of what we're actually giving our money to or consent.
Okay, there you go. The elites, the Illuminati of the world continued to wreak havoc on our lives, and I'm so grateful that we now know better. Allison, if you could cue up Naomi Wolf next, that would be lovely. Thank you so much. So many of us have our particular truthers that we like to follow, and some people are more fear-mongering than others and say hell-bent on saying we're headed to World War III. Well, this is a scenario that would have happened had Trump not taken his role as president and then again as commander-in-chief with the military in control, since they asked him to join the military so that we could have a transition from all of this, the medical system, the Federal Reserve, the media, and not have a civil war because we weren't educated enough. And these last 4 years, the last 10 years have been thoroughly educational from my perspective. I've been following the geopolitical arena ever since 9/11. And this, with the truthers and with Q telling us future proves past and starting to put down the military Q drops so that we didn't lose our minds, that we didn't give up hope. And so that's why I go over Q drops, because this is what I have been following these last almost 4 years. And future proves past means that the Q drops from 2017, 2018, etc., and on to the present. Well, they're not dropping fresh ones right now. They did drop some fresh ones within the last year. However, the time date stamps on them, when we pull up Q drops, look at the time date stamp, and it's pertaining to things that are happening in our geopolitical realm now. And so it's really fascinating. There's going to be a lot of documentaries done on the Q drops and who's behind it and what has happened and how we kept our insanity, knowing the evolution of this exposure that we call a movie or a pantomime, whatever you want to call it, with actors filling in for the people who were already arrested, put into Gitmo, tried, or wherever. There's many places on the earth that people have been brought to international tribunals and justice has already been served. So in order to keep things rolling out and playing out, they needed to be replaced, like Biden. We know that's not him. We know the actors who have played him. Looks like Jim Carrey was doing all those great falls, and Arthur Roberts played him, and who else? I don't know. So you may feel deceived by that, yet I find comfort in that this organic, slow rollout of truth has been able to keep us from a civil war. And not only in our country, but this is taking place all over the world. That's why there's millions and millions of truthers in every nation who are doing the Trump dance. I don't know how he does it, but the NFL, the soccer players, people at weddings in Asia doing the Trump dance. It's such a kooky, silly dance, but it says it all. Boogie woogie, baby, we got this. Let's go. Those are my words, not hers. So with that, I was talking about different truthers. Naomi Wolf. I don't know if I have her big book. Oh, it's out on the floor behind me. The Pfizer Papers. I'll get it out while she's showing this video and hold it up. Exposes communications about the vaccine and it didn't work, etc. You can trust that Fauci's gone. Remember Trump looking at him when he was on stage, when he was in the official limelight of president, looking down at Fauci? When he does that to people, when he does those eyeball rolls and looks at them, they're a target. So with that, go ahead and play it, Allison.
The chaos isn't just cover up or seize power to prevent President Trump from being inaugurated. It's also the chaos of a coup that's already taken place. You're right. We can do what we want. We can start wars. We can end wars. We don't need Congress. That is the sign of an authoritarian regime that's cut loose from the two other branches of government. You're absolutely right. It's already the coup. You're right. And it's the coup engaging in the most violent thing. Literally, we're all sitting around waiting to see how mad Putin's going to get, to see if we wake up tomorrow and if our kids wake up tomorrow. This is madness. It's beyond madness. It's global scale madness. And the only people who are tasked with stopping it are, ironically, Vice President Harris. She's not acting. But then members of Congress, right? Aren't they supposed to step in and impeach in Article 25? The way I read Article 25, in the immediate emergency, the vice president becomes president, but then Congress is supposed to convene. And within a very limited period of time, Congress is supposed to decide what it wants to do next. So Congress is in charge when the president is impaired, vice president or no vice president. That's what Article 25 says. So Congress can convene right now and decide I hate to see this because it's such a disruption of our traditions, but they can decide to inaugurate President Trump early. I don't read Article 25 as saying anything against that. It really says they're in charge of, what to do next if there's an emergency like an impaired president. And they can also decide to stop the war, right? They can decide to, send emissaries to convene a peace deal between Ukraine and Russia. Article 25 really does say it goes back to Congress when the president is impaired. Vice president is there kind of as a figurehead until Congress decides what it wants to do.
While other networks lie to you about what's happening now, InfoWars tells you the truth.
And she's got another piece she's going to share in a moment. This is her book, The Pfizer Papers, Pfizer's Crime Against Humanity. And it's so heavy. Oh my gosh, look at this. It gives everything. Oh my gosh, I can't even. Pictures, etc. So Naomi Wolf is a genuine heroine, hero, female. Love her, and she's so well educated. Listen to this that she says at the end of this show, and Allison will post the link so you can watch this clip fully. And Alex does have a commercial in there. You can fast forward it, and so enjoy this last piece.
I mean, I'm not a foreign policy expert, but I guess what I don't see is diplomacy, right? I don't see any kind of active diplomacy trying to get the warring parties to sit down at a table and protect lives rather than just launder more money, send taxpayer money, build up more missiles, pump up the war machine and the profits of Boeing and Northrop Grumman. I mean, that's what I'm not seeing. So,
you're right, Dr. Wolf. And again, the Pentagon confirms, the White House confirms, they haven't talked to the Russians in years. The hotline's not been used in over 2.5 years. We'll be right back. Stay.
I might have given you a wrong time stamp on that. I will readjust because I wanted to have her say what did she talk about the Boeing and the war machine? Maybe that was it. No, it's I think at the end. Pardon me. We have been pedaling as fast as we can, and let me see. That timestamp was 13:05, Allison.
Yeah.
To
13:05 to 13:36. I went over a little bit, but that was
okay. Great. All right. Pardon me. I'm multitasking myself.
Yeah. I mean, I just drove in this morning and slid into my seat too. So
yeah, you did. So do you
want me to
prepare the Tom Homan one for next? That would be great. Thank you. You guys, I watch so many videos. There's no way I can watch all the ones you're sending me. And then when I watch it and I find something I need to go back and get timestamps, it's a lot of work. And yet I'm here to be in service to you because I want it to be educational. And to follow that, Tom Homan had this to say.
Can you see it or do you need me to?
Can you read it, please?
Of course. It says, it's Tom Homan, Border Czar commentary account only. That's interesting. Breaking. Russian President Vladimir Vladimirovich Putin has agreed to peace talks with Ukraine as long as President Donald Trump leads them. World peace under President Trump is possible.
Whew. Beautiful. And well said. You said his name much better than I would have butchered it. So thank you for this.
Sure.
And is that all on Tom Homan? I believe it is.
Yeah, that's all I mean, he has some comments down in there, but no, that's the most pertinent one. This was a pretty cool picture, I thought, as well. Just, I love the black and whites, but no, that's it. Sorry. Just wanted to.
Well, as long as we're on that vein, why don't you pop off and get the FCB code, because I think that is in alignment with this, and I'll tell everyone why.
Yeah. Okay. Got it.
Thank you. So last night on Phil's Live, he said, don't worry about that 25th Amendment. We don't need it. Why would they need it? And I think that the reason that he said that is because of this post that FCB Decode shared with us. Go ahead, Allison.
Do you want the pictures? Is that what you want first?
Yes.
Or, I mean, the background is up here, but
okay.
Let's pull that up. We've got, I mean, you can see that okay, right?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so we all knew, well, maybe you didn't, that Trump went to Texas to witness Elon Musk's rocket being sent up. And so Dan Scavino says at Real Donald Trump en route to Texas, where he would join Elon Musk and SpaceX Starship 6th flight test. So in the decodes, what FCB is saying, front row to the World War III scare event. And that, that's kind of a symbol for he's doing these decodes, and the comm is 5x5, comm's clear. What was he doing there? Let's go back up and see and read the text of what he's talking about. And I think it's pretty powerful stuff. And I think he covers it in here. I've looked at so many of his posts. Scavino post, President Trump en route to Texas, where it will join Elon Musk for SpaceX Starship 6 flight test, or the front row of the World War III scare event? Question mark. Looks pretty violent with all those flames. Well, anything is possible considering the escalation of Russia. As Q says, how many coincidences before it's mathematically impossible? And as you know, mirrors are important as it confirms comms. 5 by 5, comms clear. The decode explains it all. Thank you, President Trump, for confirming that you are the 19th president, commander-in-chief under the 1776 Constitution. And no matter what happens, you have control together with white hats, worldwide alliance. Everything will be clean, and in brackets, scare event.
That
Trust
says not. That says everything. Not everything will be clean. Scare event or NECC. I don't know what that even means, but I just wanted to make sure you knew that.
Thank you so much. And trust the COC. We are chosen. Last decodes Intel News. You can follow him, but if you're into decodes, he's a good one. So yeah, I can't read that. There we go. Thank you. This is a Q drop 521, which goes back to what he was in the other prior picture on January 13th, 2018. We are fighting for good. We are fighting for life. We are fighting for good. We are at war. Not everything will be clean. Scare event necessary. Do you trust the military? Yes, I do. Do you trust the chain of command? Yes, I do. Have faith. We are in control, patriots. Patriots Day. Have faith. You were chosen for a reason. You are being provided with the highest level of intel to ever be dropped publicly in the history of the world. Use it. Protect and comfort those around you. Where we go one, we go all. Q. Isn't that amazing? So, as I listened to Charlie Ward in March of 2021, he said President Trump was just sworn in as the president of the republic. And yet we waited all this time to see how this is going to unfold. We always knew there'd be a scare event, World War III, that there would be all this going on. We knew it. So when you watch the news and they're talking about World War III, you know the difference. It's not going to happen. Yes, there may be a scare event. Yes, the EBS sirens will go off certain areas somehow in this timing, and then it will not happen. So you are safe, and that's why they're asking you to comfort your friends. Q wanted to harm, as you know, in war, there are tragedies, yet they wanted to protect the children, women, men, every human being to the best of their ability while we go through this great reveal that we have been. So you were chosen, you know better. So it's our job to stay calm and have a level head. Now, why are they doing this? Why would the cabal want to go to World War III? Well, you have to go back and get educated on the federal banking system. And Allison has a video that she's going to pull up to share to help explain what I learned 36 years ago about the Federal Reserve. And of course, if you know about Jekyll Island, etc., they'll cover that in this. So sit back, grab your tea, and enjoy this. If you're ready, Allison, just give me a thumbs up when you are.
I want to make sure that it's the correct one. So let me start it and you tell me.
That's it. That's
okay.
it.
All right, then.
Yeah. So, and just start from the beginning, please. Thank you.
In order to begin to understand how our financial system works, we need to go back to the early 1900s, 1910 to be exact. Everyone at some point in their lives has heard of the Federal Reserve, but most likely don't understand what it is or how it works. The Federal Reserve, referred to as the Fed, is a central bank that many economists refer to as the biggest robbery ever enacted on the American people. The reason for this is because the Federal Reserve is neither part of the federal government nor does it have any reserves. Yet, this single organization controls the money supply of the most powerful country in the world. The Fed is very diligent in hiding the fact that they are not part of the government. The last thing they want the American people to fully understand is that our government does not control our own money. In order to achieve this, they were very clever and decided to call their institution the Federal Reserve. And by labeling themselves this way, the general public never thought twice about who was in control of the country's money supply. If the Federal Reserve is not part of the government, then who controls this private organization and how did this come to be? The answer to this question is what changed the course of our country forever. In November of 1910, a secret meeting took place of 6 bankers and economic policymakers who represented the financial elite of the Western world. It was hosted at the J.P. Morgan estate on Jekyll Island in Georgia. In attendance was Senator Nelson W. Aldrich, Abram Pyatt Andrew Jr., Assistant Secretary of the Treasury, Frank Vanderlip, President of National City Bank of New York, Henry P. Davidson, Senior Partner of J.P. Morgan and Company, Charles D. Norton, President of First National Bank of New York, Paul Warburg, Director of Wells Fargo, Benjamin Strong, the emissary for J.P. Morgan, and coincidentally, the first president of the Federal Reserve. Years later, Frank Vanderlip referred to this meeting as the actual conception of what eventually became the Federal Reserve System. This meeting was so secret at the time that not even the names of those who attended were mentioned to the servants who lived and worked on the island. The men who attended came on a late-night train, claiming to be on their way to a hunting expedition, but instead, these bankers met with Senator Nelson Aldrich to draft what would eventually become the Federal Reserve Act. This private meeting, attended by some of the most powerful men in America, was strategically designed to take control of our country's money supply and to achieve ultimate power in America. Meyer Amsched Rothschild, one of the most powerful European bankers of his time, stated it best when he said, "Permit me to issue and control the money of the nation, and I care not who makes its laws." On December 23, 1913, 2 days before Christmas, when most people in Congress were home with their families, the Federal Reserve Act was signed into law by President Woodrow Wilson. That single act, however small it may seem, transferred the control of our monetary system from our government into the hands of some of the wealthiest men in our country. Putting into law the Federal Reserve Act gave unlimited power to a few wealthy banking institutions in America. The Fed has the power to issue currency, manipulate interest rates, and run secret bailouts. Yet Congress and the President are not allowed full oversight over this powerful organization. The Federal Reserve enjoys a monopoly over the creation of our nation's money and credit, but for 100 years, they have never been completely transparent and accountable about it. And we don't have to look back too far from today to see what it looks like in real life. When testifying before Congress in 2009, Fed Chairman Ben Bernanke refused to disclose which institutions received trillions of dollars in these bailouts and loans, or give our representatives details about what deals were being made.
So my question to you is, will you tell the American people to whom you lent $2.2 trillion of their dollars? Will you tell us who got that money and what the terms are of those agreements?
Hundreds and hundreds of banks, any bank or that has access to the U.S. Federal Reserve's discount.
Will you tell us who they are?
No.
In an interview with Treasury Secretary Timothy Geithner, he makes the stunning assertion that conducting a full audit of the Federal Reserve, something never before done in its 100-year history, is a line that we don't want to cross. to be denied full transparency of these transactions after U.S. taxpayers contributed over $16 trillion to these bailouts and loans is unthinkable and unconstitutional. It is our right as American citizens to know where our money is being spent. It's very ironic that if you don't give the IRS full transparency with your finances, you go to jail. But if you're a private organization of elite bankers that controls the money supply of a country, you're free to do as you please without full oversight. This private organization is arrogant in the fact that the same accounting laws that apply to the rest of America do not apply to them.
There is no other agency of government which can overrule actions that we take.
Their control appears to be unlimited, and 2008 is the most recent example of how much power the Fed actually has on our country.
Many of us were told in private conversations that if we voted against this bill on Monday, that the sky would fall, the market would drop 2,000 or 3,000 points the first day, another couple thousand the second day, and a few members were even told that there would be martial law in America if we voted no. That's what I call fear-mongering.
The elite banking institutions took trillions of dollars worth of risk, and when they lost their bets, they threatened politicians to use taxpayer money to bail them out, or else we would face an Armageddon type of scenario. This historic change of power in America is again why many economists refer to it as the biggest robbery ever enacted on the American people.
Well, I hope that helped and that you can see a little more clearly that these people never had our best interests at heart. And this is what they do. They take money from us and they send it to places like Ukraine to start a war, to defend a war. And what they're actually doing is they're trying to steal that land from Russia, and they have bioweapons there. It came out in the news and was posted that Fauci had given money to 44 countries, and there were over 200 biolabs. And in these biolabs, not only do they find these viruses that they've created to unleash onto the human population, they also found children and experiments with children and breeding, making these cross breeds of animals and human together. It's horrific. You know, just like that, we thought that they dropped the atom bomb on what is that? Hiroshima and Hiroshima. So, you know, all these things have been done by these elites. And then we had Fukusaki. Where was that? That was the Japanese. That I was living in Hawaii when that was unleashed, and we had a tsunami effect there, and all the garbage started floating up on shore while I was living in Hawaii. We were almost evacuated. We were living on the road to evacuation because we were only a couple of blocks from the ocean. And I was sick with the flu, and Ann, my assistant at the time, she let me know that there was a tsunami coming, and I didn't have a clue. I was sick. And so, you know, it picked up one of the homes and just lifted it and put it right in the ocean. And so they have done nothing but create war, fear, and havoc on the world population. And they've done it through the lying Mossad media. And that is controlled by the CIA and these elites of 300s who determine everything that goes out into the public. So that's why we have to see MSM, the mainstream media, capitulating, playing their parts, because the white hat military took control of those stations. And now you're starting to see them do 360s or 180s, whatever. And they are showing us that they're having a change of heart suddenly, like Mika and Joe. Who was Mika's father? What is Joe accused of? Wasn't there a death in the White House when he was there? There's all these secrets, dirty little secrets, full of them. And we know about dirty little secrets. It's just ridiculous what they've done to us. Yet, while Allison's queuing up the J.D. Vance, Whitaker, and the Scavino posts. We'll do those after this, and then we're going to get into a very good video that you will love about the futuristic transportation that we will be looking at. But first, I wanted to do a recap of Bruce's big call. Yes, he's been doing these big calls for, I don't know, 13 years. He's been awake and aware for a couple decades. And people say, well, Bruce is never right. Well, nobody's ever right, because we're in a military controlled environment where they're told what they can say and what they can't. And some of you really enjoyed this last week's Bruce's big call, which comes out on Thursday nights. And I repost them on the Telegram channel. If you're not in there, you may want to join. And welcome to the new subscribers. We love you, and we're here to show you the truth. I am not blue, red. I am not Democrat, Republic. I am a spiritual, intuitive woman who wants the world to know the truth. I never talked geopolitics to my friends because it just wasn't necessary. And now it's necessary. So, what do you know about R&R, restoration and retribution for we the people? Because through Trump's executive orders that he issued when he got into office, that anybody connected to pedophilia, treasonous acts and deeds against the United States, all their properties would be seized. So as their properties were seized, we also had the Chinese elders who've known about this for hundreds of years, and they have been hiding their gold. And ours was stolen out of Fort Knox, and we found a lot of gold under, well, not me, the White Hats found a lot of gold under the Vatican, because the earth is like a honeycomb, and they had many levels underneath the Vatican where they kept relics and parts of our history that we need to see, along with the gold and buttloads. I mean, there were 350 plane loads of gold retrieved from under the Vatican, but there was also buttloads of the United States currency and $100 bills, and in marked Red Cross boxes. I don't trust any organizations to distribute humanitarian resources, and I don't donate to any of those. I go directly to the people on the ground who are having fundraisers, like in Hawaii, which, by the way, Hawaii, my husband and I watched an updated YouTube video, and you can look for it, of what Maui looks like now after cleaning out all the buildings and the burnt areas, etc. So I'm so grateful that Maui is, well, you guys, there's just no words for what you went through. So anyways, back to the Social Security. So all this money, almost $900 trillion of captured, seized financial money, properties, etc. Anything that they were profiting off of us, they were profiting through our IRS taxes, the interest on our credit cards, the interest on the loans that we took out for our homes and our cars. And so all of that interest is being given back to us through the seizures of their properties and wealth. And that's why you see so many properties from famous people of the elite in the music industry, in Hollywood, in the banking industry, and politicians. And it's going back to we the people. So part of NESARA, the National Economic Recovery and Restoration Securities Act, something like that, pardon me, I wasn't planning on saying that. NESARA for national, which is our nation, and JSARA for global nations. And so everybody's going to be receiving something, yet there are some people who need to continue working because they're not of retirement age yet. What is the new retirement age? Rumors are 55, yet we don't know what it is yet until they let us know officially. So what Bruce said was, there's going to be a Social Security income increase. And so if you're, I'm just going to read my notes if you don't mind. If you're getting Social Security now, your R&R, restitution, will pay a lump sum to your bank account where your Social Security currently goes. So if you have automatic deposits, that's where it's going to be going. Unless you're a currency holder and you know to go to the bank and say, I'm holding foreign currency, all of them, whatever foreign currency you're holding. And so if you have that, then it's paid to your quantum account. When you activate that account and use your biometrics, whether it's a thumbprint or an eye scan, I'm not sure what it is, maybe a fingerprint, and you will be instructed to create a new email, a new password, etc. And then this will be where your restitution goes to instead of your bank account. And then you can transfer it. This includes interest paid on loans, banks, credit cards, auto, mortgages, etc. The income taxes that you paid, I don't think I said that earlier, and what they traded on your birth certificate, because it was the straw man account. Soon as you were born, you were given a corporatized name because all of the names were printed in capital letters, making you a corporate entity, and they traded your birth certificates on the projection of what you would be making and earning as an individual. If you have a death of a spouse, if you had a divorce, all of these are included in your R&R, and this is for people who are 60 years and older. If you're in the age bracket of 30 to 45 years old, then you'll get paid out over 3 years, and your R&R will be paid every month. If you're in the age bracket of 45 to 60, your R&R will be paid out every month for 2 years. So, and that will go to your regular bank account. If you're between 30 and 45, you need to sign an agreement that you'll keep your job for another 15 years. And that's my husband's always asked, why would they do that? We wouldn't have a workforce. Well, this is what they put into place. If you don't have a job, you'll need to say that you'll get a job working 30 hours per week or more. So that seems fair enough to me. And then we have 45 to 60-year-olds. You'll sign an agreement that you'll work for another 10 years. Now, all of this is liable to change, so just don't get attached. Just know that it's coming. If you're, say, 59, then you'll only need to work maybe another couple of years. If retirement's 62, etc. It starts for us at the RV, and which is the redemption centers. We will start first. So if you're a currency holder, you get to be in front of the line. Stay tuned. Subscribe to Iraq or Dinar Recaps. Look up Dinar Recaps. Subscribe to them. You'll be hearing it from us. Mark Z continually says that he will be able to tell you the process and what you need to know, and I will pass on whatever I learn. Oh, and as for the Social Security, when will that happen, that increase? Well, they were trying to get it set up for November. Now it's looking like it's going to be in the first week of December. Again, go with the flow. Trump said Christmas before Thanksgiving. How many times has he said that? And that Social Security definitely is supposed, well, there I go again saying definitely, it's supposed to start the first week of December. And he's always, these last years have said, Christmas is going to be amazing. Well, every year Christmas goes by, but this year it's not going to go by without something happening. We are at the end. So Bruce also said the bondholders are told they need to start this week, and they'll be told via email when these funds are in their accounts. We're expecting Wells Fargo emails. Well, he said that we would start to receive those today. Today's Thursday, right? And then they'll ask for your zip code. And that is the zip code you want to provide them when you have your call as to where you want to go to the redemption center. Some people don't want to go in their local communities where people might see them. They want to keep that private, so they might go to a different town that isn't too far away. So ask for your zip code, where you're going, and then 2 to 5 hours after that, you should be able to go to your exchange center. Oof. He says he's been waiting over 20 years. And he said, this one really, I really pray this in. Please do. The med beds will be coming fairly soon. So I have no words. The multiple phone calls we get every day from our beloved suffering from dementia, asking the same questions. And we're hoping we can have him over for a visit this week. My husband's taking a week off. He really misses his dog terribly. And he doesn't remember that we have him. So we get those phone calls throughout the day, especially at night. And we know that we could help him, but we don't have control over that. We're dealing with people who are so deep into the medical system. It's sad. It just breaks my heart. So we do know that last week, when was that? Was that over the weekend? We saw some tests done on the foreign exchange with the dong. And there was another one that was tested as well. I can't recall what it was off the top of my head, but these were tests to ensure that they worked on the Forex across the world. And the Bolivar is slated to go over $4. The dinar has excellent contract rates. If you have the Iraqi dinar, you will get a higher rate than the public rate. And Dr. Shabibi told us a long time ago, I'm anticipating, and this is just me, something around $14 or higher. We'll see. I really think they're going to do well for everyone who has invested in the currencies, because these nations are going to flip a switch and we're going to see their thriving, their buildings and what they have rebuilt, especially Iraq after that after that 9/11 event and what happened to those people. It's criminal, and they've all been caught. It was all caught, and they're going to get justice and restitution. And I do plan on visiting Iraq one day. I really want to see the people and meet some of the people there. So, they tested the currencies they tested were the dinar, the Japanese dong, and the Afghanistan, whatever it is, dollar, and the Indonesia rupee. They all went off without a hitch. And some people got arrested because they were bankers, et cetera, try to get in early, and they were dealt with. They see everything. Space Force sees everything. That's inner space. That's technology. And so, yay, lock them up. And some of them were politicians, bank managers, hedge fund managers, and they were picked up and arrested. So the R&R restitution and reclamation allowances. You know, I've said it before on shows. I think it's important to reiterate one more time, is that this is what George Soros used to do before they go into a country and create a war and then collapse their currency because it was worthless. And then George Soros would go in and buy it all up. And then the controllers would go in and rebuild the communities, having control over them. And then their dollar would go up in value. And then George Soros would sell it, circulating more wealth amongst those elites who were controlling everything. This is such a beautiful plan, in my humble opinion, to have we the people be the ones who are able to help restore these countries and profit off of them, so that we can turn that money into humanitarian projects, whatever your heart desires. And I'm going to have a retreat for humanitarians and people who want to collaborate together in Hawaii and share what you're doing, so we can donate to other people's projects. It's a win-win. It's so beautiful. I mean, how many of you have a great idea and you just thought, well, I'm an artist, I'm a musician, I want to rescue animals, and I just want to have a huge animal sanctuary. Well, these people will need either funding or they will get it through the revaluation process. It's miraculous. Expect a miracle. It is a divine plan, and we couldn't do it without Trump being here, leading the way. And, I followed him for 45 years, and the least favorite thing I saw was The Apprentice. I didn't like The Apprentice. I was like, And yet, what he was doing was laying the groundwork for where we're at today. He's much more than people think he is. He's not just a billionaire businessman. He's a general. And these people were shaking in their boots when he got elected. They tried to steal it. They didn't get away with it. They have it all from the Starlink systems and satellites, and Italy captured some of that. It's been a worldwide global alliance event to help us see the truth. So the Brunson case we've been waiting for, that could come out tomorrow morning. We don't know for sure. The Brunson case is where the Brunson brothers, there's 4 of them. They were on Johnny Carson years ago. They play trumpets. We're waiting to hear the trumpets. And a lot of people believe it's going to happen tomorrow. We don't know. Yet the SCOTUS is having discussions on a couple of cases to bring forward tomorrow, and we're all hoping and praying Brunson case is one of them, because once because he went after Congress, and he was filing a suit against Congress for not letting the people have the electoral vote recount. That was illegal. They break the laws every chance they get, and then they create a diversion to operate over what they've done, and they controlled it all through the media. Not anymore. We're the media, alternative media, those of us who know the truth, doing the best that we can. I never wanted to be an investigative reporter. That's not my kuleani. That's not my issue. My issue is healing, helping people to have a blissful life and create a magical relationship with your loved ones. And so this can't come soon enough. Now, I think that it might be a good time to show those, what I asked you to pull up, Allison. If you're ready, can you read, please, so I can take a drink? Maybe I could comment on them.
Okay, yeah, I'd be happy to. But you had said Scavino and J.D. Vance. Do you mean the one you sent me in the email you want me to read? Is that it?
No, Scavino's post on the lockdown?
Yes, I have that ready.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay, let's pull him up. Okay, it says Scavino. I mean, can you see it okay now? It's was informed by a longtime staffer in the White House, he says, that when we went there last week, the word was to, quote, keep an eye on Scavino when he's inside. He's been spiking the football too much on social media, end quote. Now the lockdown in the Roosevelt room makes sense, but it's okay. 60 days, exclamation point. And then we have this little tidbit here. It says lockdown in the Roosevelt room. AI overview says a lockdown in the Roosevelt room would refer to a situation where the Roosevelt room in the White House is completely secured and access is restricted, like due to a serious security threat or emergency situation preventing anyone from entering or leaving the room until the crisis is resolved. And key points are the Roosevelt room is a conference room in the West Wing of the White House, often used for important meetings with high-level staff. The meaning of lockdown, in context, it means a complete closure with restricted access, typically implemented during a critical event. Possible scenarios where a lockdown in the Roosevelt room could occur: breaking news of a major crisis. If a significant national security event unfolds, the president and the key advisors might convene in the Roosevelt room and restrict access to manage the situation. High stakes negotiations. During political diplomatic talks, the Roosevelt room could be locked down to maintain privacy and security. And the last one, immediate response to an incident. If an urgent situation arises, the room could be used as a command center with restricted access to focus on immediate action. And then we have Let me pull up Mr. J.D. Vance. Hold on just a moment. I'm going to take her off of there and put this up for you. Well, there we go. And this is J.D. Vance's post. Donald J. Trump just won a major electoral victory. His coattails turned a 49-51 Senate to a, this is very important, 53-47 Senate. He deserves a cabinet that is loyal to the agenda he was elected to implement. And this refers to a Q post on November 20th of 2018, where it says, "Together we win. Attacks on Whitaker will only intensify. Senate was the target." Bingo, 53-47 right there. Awesome stuff. And then it has the statement here on November 20th from Donald J. Trump, President. "I am pleased to announce that former acting Attorney General Matthew G. Whitaker from the great state of Iowa will be the United States ambassador to the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, or NATO. Matt is a strong warrior and loyal patriot who will ensure the United States interests are advanced and defended. Matt will strengthen relationships with our NATO allies and stand firm in the face of threats to peace and stability. He will put America first." And Nancy, did you want me to read the whole thing, or do you want me to move into something else?
Yes, please. I think so.
There's just a little tiny bit left.
Yeah.
No problem. Okay, so I just want to make sure you didn't have something else. "I have full confidence in Matt's ability to represent the United States with strength, integrity, and unwavering dedication. I look forward to working closely with him as we continue to promote peace through strength, freedom, and prosperity around the world." Matt is also the former U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of Iowa and is a graduate of the University of Iowa with a BA, MBA, and JD, where he played football and received the Big Ten Medal of Honor.
Okay, hold that up there. Keep that up for a moment, please. Thank you, Allison. Well done. So can you circle the date again of that post in the Q drops? It was 11/20. Oh, pardon me. It was Q drop 2495, posted on November 20th, 2018. So we have them Q's talking about Whitaker, and then look to the right and you have November 20th of the drop. So this is why we say trust Q, follow the plan, because it's been told to us, but we didn't know what it would look like. And here it is. Proof is in the Q drops. Go ahead, Allison.
No, I think I was just going to chime in to cheer you on. I think it's beautiful, and the 53-47 is, the numbers don't lie. I mean, come on, how many coincidences before it's mathematically impossible, people?
So once again, pardon me for interrupting, circle the 53 in the post by J.D. Vance so people can see this. That's what J.D. Vance posted on the 20th. And then down, there it is in the Q drop. This is a plan. It's a military plan. That's why I am so calm. How about you, Allison?
Oh, yeah. It's like, yeah, baby. I'm not listening to any. I was just briefly with many lefties in my daughter's household, and I survived.
Yay. And I love somebody says it's not a Q-incidence, or it's a Q-incidence. I love that.
This is actually color coded. If y'all hadn't noticed that, the yellow, and then they show the yellow. They're actually showing you the proof points, as Nancy so eloquently did. Just in case I'm going to put this, all the links and anything we talk about will be in the description. If I haven't shared it in the comments, I'm always going to put everything in the description, just so y'all know.
Allison, you're amazing. Thank you. And yes, we want that beautiful video that's Trump and the futuristic next. When you are ready, let me know. And I'll be watching for you. Thumbs up in the background. Oh my goodness. This is, okay, I just want to share my experience. That's all we can share. Our experience, strength, and hope. For the last decade, I've been talking to my granddaughters. Well, I started when they were a few years old about flying cars. Flying cars? What do you mean flying cars? And back then, the videos of the flying cars was pretty archaic looking. Advance a decade to what you're about to see now. You're getting a sliver of a glimpse of now that we're cutting off the big oil corporations' heads, and we have the technology that's been hidden from us, we can create travel through transporters, cars, etc. And it's not just lightweight, little, small flying vehicles or transporters. What we're going to see is the ability to lift and transport semis, a truck and trailer. The future is beyond belief for us. So that's why we need to stay open and remain detached, and yet know that big oil wanted us to think that oil came from the dinosaurs of the past and it was a limited resource. The truth is that oil is an organic material and it replenishes itself. So I love my fuel operated vehicle, which is actually going into the shop tomorrow. Not too happy about that. However, what is on the horizon is beyond our wildest dreams, and I can't wait. So when you're ready, play it, Allison.
In cars. Listen to this. It's a very short message. Listen to this.
Another big opportunity is in transportation. Dozens of major companies in the United States and China are racing to develop vertical takeoff and landing vehicles for families and individuals. Just as the United States led the automotive revolution in the last century, I want to ensure that America, not China, leads this revolution in air mobility. These breakthroughs can transform commerce, bring a giant infusion of wealth into rural America, and connect families in our country in new ways.
Last year, I was talking a little bit about Stephen Greer. He was a surgeon, got out of that and started going into all the different types of off-world UAP tech.
My apologies, that went over a little bit, but it's pretty exciting stuff.
Yes, it is. And thank you to Santa Surfing. I started following her in 2021. She was the first one who was projecting these astronomical rates for the silver. And yes, my goodness, if you don't have cash to purchase goods and services with, if you have silver, you are going to be more than good. And I even heard Phil talk about possibility of $500,000 an ounce last night. Wow, that's pretty beyond my limited scope of thinking. However, you know, silver being in the 30s right now, if you can afford to get a couple ounces or more, it's very important. My husband's been talking to me about silver for practically our whole marriage, and people kept going, why hasn't it happened yet? Well, it's because the cabal still controlled the fiat dollar and the metals market. We already seen gold going up. We're going to see silver go to the moon, the fake moon that they have created. And that's a whole nother story. HM54 says, if you grasp that the earth is flat, it will lead you to the incredible energy and inventions that are possible. Very well said. Feeling the Frequency says from Rumble Marianne, Via Trust. I looked up ours. My husband's social security number was stolen 30 years ago. 30 plus people using his social security number. So his trust values was at 92 billion. You know, we were doing those searches a couple of years ago, and congratulations to you for seeing that, because when you go to your bank or redemption center, when the transfer happens, I think we're going to be overblown with the amount of money that is sitting there waiting for us for all that they traded and made money off of us. And it's going to be a future where money is a non-issue. Clear and simple. It will be a non-issue. Everyone will be wealthy. The elite stole from us, and Trump and the White Hat Alliance and the Kennedys are saving the world from financial ruin. So it's just so, so beautiful. And I think that's the end. Oh, we have one more thing. We have two things. We have a Healing Light video from Shar that she shared with us. Are you ready for that one, Allison? And then we have an email that was sent to me that we want to read as well. Thank you.
These are arc lamps, and they were healing lupus and other skin conditions back in 1902 with different UV light frequencies derived from radium. And then they would also use different color spectrums. So, you know, simple things like that to heal the people, using light to heal the people. Now, what's interesting too is you can also use light to transfer messages. So this is a really cool one. It talked about how they would transfer messages such as the telephone messages through light. So they would beam light into the sky, have a little telephone connector. They could communicate through the light and listen and talk to people through light. So light is really interesting. And what's the number one thing they always tell you? Stay out of the sun. The sun is communicating with you. It's sending signals, frequencies that are going through the eyes to help the brain, help the blood flow, help the body move. If you tell people to stay in the sun, they're going to get healed. They're going to feel better. They're going to have better moods. They're going to lose weight. They're going to have more energy. They're going to be stronger.
Right? That's what we've been talking about all this time. Healing with light. Wave watch is resonance healing, and the patches are stem cell activation. And I love hearing from you who are sharing your stories with me about the incredible difference. I want to give a shout out to Tammy. Thank you so much, Tammy. She sent a donation for Allison's tires, and I will get that off to you in the mail today. And I thank you and your husband for watching the show together. I think that's so beautiful. I wish my husband and I could watch my show together. He doesn't watch my show, but that's okay. I think that sometimes, you know, we go through what we go through, and I have you in my court. I have Allison in my court, and all the truthers that I've met in Discord these last almost 4 years. And so I found a community who was awake and or waking up. And that's what it's all about. How many people were whistleblowers who've waited decades, multiple decades, died before the truth came out? I just give gratitude and thanks for all those people who did their videos. There's one gentleman who did a video of his father and what his father told him before he passed away about a hangar being filled up with all this sand and dirt, where they created a false studio for the shuttle or the capsule landing in this hangar, and so they wanted it to look like the moon. And then when it was done, they hauled everything away, tore down the hangar, etc. So there's been so many whistleblowers who knew the truth and may have never seen it come to light. You and I are alive. We're going to witness the most incredible transfer of power in the history of humankind. This is no small feat. And I've got truth bumps all over my legs right now. This is epic. This is so big. And we want to help prepare you not to be afraid of an alert, of a false flag, of World War coming in. And what we want is for you to be prepared and stocked up. So we have one more that we're going to read. Allison, would you be open to reading that, please?
I would be happy to, since I too have God bumps, like from my scalp to my calves and into my toes. It's crazy. It's wonderful, good stuff. This is from Emil Alston. On November 22nd and 30, every phone on the planet will be hit with a loud, unmistakable alert signal. This will come directly from Starlink satellites, bypassing the corrupt media channels controlled by the elites. Yes! The Earth Alliance, Starlink, and military are ready to execute the final phase. The old world is crumbling, and a new era of freedom is beginning. For years, the Earth Alliance has been preparing, quietly building a secure network of satellites that will make this possible. The EBS alert will be activated globally, but in phases. Depending on your location, you might get it slowly, you might get it slightly earlier or later, but make no mistake, it is coming. The phased rollout will prevent the deep state from reacting and catch them off guard. By the time the signal hits every device, the Earth Alliance will have moved to the next stage. The signal will be followed by a broadcast from Trump and military leaders, bypassing the corrupt media. Hallelujah. They will deliver real-time updates on the takedown of the deep state, mass arrests, and the collapse of the corrupt financial system. You will learn how FEMA, the FBI, and other agencies have been weaponized against the people, staging false flags and disasters to maintain control. The EBS broadcast could last up to 10 days, depending on ground conditions. During this time, there will be no internet, no social media, no TV, no mainstream news. Stock up on food, water, and supplies. You won't be able to access stores or services during this period. As the alert rolls out, the military will mobilize globally. The Earth Alliance has been coordinating this for years. Patriot groups and militias in the U.S. are ready to confront any deep state operatives trying to stop the plan. The military will maintain order, but expect resistance from the elites. They will attempt to create chaos with false flags, but they will fail. The globalists know their time is up, and nothing they can do will stop. They can do nothing to stop what is coming. During this time, expect martial law. Military tribunals will be broadcast through the EBS. You will witness the fall of corrupt politicians, bankers, and elites. You'll see arrests, confessions, and the dismantling of globalist networks that have enslaved us for so long. The deep state's financial institutions will collapse. The quantum financial system will replace the corrupt system, marking the greatest wealth transfer in history. Banks, stock markets, and fiat currencies will be obliterated, replaced by a fair system that serves the people. Part of the EBS plan includes neutralizing underground military bases used by the elites. These underground cities, built to protect them from the chaos they've unleashed, are being identified and destroyed. The Earth Alliance has allocated bunkers, including one under Denver International Airport and another in the Swiss Alps. Special forces teams are already in position. Once the EBS is triggered, they will eliminate these elite hideouts. Just 1 second. I wanted to make sure I didn't miss anything. 1 second, let me make it larger. Okay, they will eliminate these elite hideouts. This is a war like we've never seen before, and it's happening now. Once these underground facilities are neutralized, the elites will have nowhere to hide. Brace yourselves. The storm is upon us. Hallelujah.
I love it.
Fun. I just love it. Thank you.
Vindication's coming for you and your family, Allison, and everyone else. So many of us just can't wait. And more importantly, I can't wait till the big pharma and the medical system goes down and is revamped. And then we will see med beds in all the hospitals. It's not going to look the same that we're used to. You have no idea how long I've waited to see some action taken. And don't be fooled about the pictures you've seen of Trump in the airplane with, was Elon in there and Robert Kennedy Jr. And in the back, they had Mike Johnson. How many of you watched the Senate hearings when they were getting rid of McCartney, Kevin McCartney? I was watching it. It was so incredible because they needed to remove McCartney because he was found out. Whenever you see Trump with a picture of somebody and Trump's going like this and the other guy's going like this, as the picture I saw, with McCartney a long time ago. That means that they are, he's shining a light on them. He shines a light on people that have been working for the cabal. So we'll see. However, then what happened next surprised everybody that Mike Johnson, he was put in as Speaker of the House. Well, was he good or bad? Was he put in that position so that he could be there and assist with whatever needed to be shown to the public about the next steps, our legal steps of bringing Trump back early? So I don't think they need anything on Capitol Hill to do that. I think it's part of the movie so that it, rolls out and flows out in a way that we can digest until the EBS comes and the curtains pulled back and the military steps in, waiting for Trump to do that famous tweet or X. I don't even know what you call it anymore. That post on X that says, "My fellow American," which is Q drop 34. So, we've had a couple of false alarms when we thought he was going to say it. And also, Melania came out and started talking one day and she said, "My fellow Americans." And I went, right on, right on. Who is Melania? Where's Diana? Princess Diana didn't die in the crash. Is she playing Melania? We don't know. Well, maybe some really good Anons know. I just take the information and just let it rest and simmer until we get the next drop. So with that, I want to say that, Mike Johnson is playing an important role. Remember, if the Brunson case is revealed tomorrow, then that will start a sequence of events and everyone in Congress would be removed immediately, even though they already have been, in my humble opinion. That will show, because once there's election fraud and it's exposed, and SCOTUS and then the marshals come in and immediately start arresting the people who were part of the crimes against the election and the election fraud. That's one scenario we could be looking at. I'm not attached to any one scenario. However, I have been hearing, just like when Allison just read that from, I think it was Dar who sent that. Thank you so much, Shar and Dar, for sending those things. The 29th, the 28th is Thanksgiving. A long time ago, Phil said we would all be at home when the EBS goes down. What a better weekend than Thanksgiving, a long weekend. So those are the things we're going to be seeing coming into the light. And all we do now is we enjoy our lives to the best of our ability. We do the inner work to heal our emotional and trauma so that we can enter the new golden age of amazing technological advancements that have been around a long time that we haven't been privy to. Only the elites had privy to them. We, the people, are going to have governments in our countries. All governments will have their own republic, and they will be operating for we the people. And every one of us, it's our duty to be sure we know who we're putting into school boards. All the schools are going to go back to the states. It will be the states who decide that, same as the abortion issue. So if you don't like the state that you're in and you don't like what they're doing, then find a state that might have what you're into. So for me personally, I think that the World Alliance working together to have the restored republics or republics because they've always admired the United States in having a constitution and a constitutional law. We need common law under the Constitution. And so we may be creating trusts to protect our assets. We will know more when we get to the bank. There are people who will make constitutional trusts for you, very simple, very clean, and it's up to us to decide how to set those up. They will ask the questions. You could have sub-trusts underneath your trust so that your, if you have children or grandchildren, then you can put them as the heirs to those trusts. You don't want to use a name. Like I wouldn't put my trust in my name or some of my nicknames like Vision Dancer, which is my spirit name given to me in a sweat lodge from the grandmothers and elders. And so this is an epic time for us to take our power back, to start thinking in abundance, prosperity, and wealth for each one of us rather than lack and poverty and I can't afford it. So we reframe our words and our thoughts to go out into the ethers as it is now. That's why I created the statement in my retreats. You are a powerful woman. Well, I changed it when I started doing this. You are a powerful and prosperous person, because I've been studying prosperity and the metaphysical connection between our thoughts, between our feelings. And only when we have an open heart, a surrendered ego, do we align in divine appointment and perfect harmony to receive the information that we need at the time. And that's what we're all doing here together. We're sharing the information with the friends and family who we can. That's why this podcast is here, so that you're not in the dark, you're not hungry, angry, lonely, or tired. That's HALT. Hungry, angry, lonely, or tired. Because if we get angry, sure, I get pissed off. And yet I know I need to move through those emotions. I need to write down who my resentments are, who I need to forgive, and who I need to bless and release and move on with my life. Because the only thing worse than having a resentment is to carry it. Because having that resentment is like, and not forgiving people is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. It serves us nothing. Christ consciousness, spirituality, intuitive awakenings are about aligning with the divine energy that surrounds us in every moment, grounding ourselves on the earth, soaking up the sun, and being able to connect with thoughts that are beyond the ego. That's why we call it lifting the veil. We've been living in the matrix where there's been a veil over our eyes to see the truth about our personal power and how we can touch the world with that. And the world may be just you and your family or you and your friends. Not everybody knows tens of thousands of people. Yet it's important to cherish the relationships that you cultivate and to nurture those relationships and to support each other, to remember the ego is edging good out, edging God out, and that the heart opens for that miracle to happen. And a miracle is a shift in our perception before we lifted the veil to after we lifted the veil to see the truth. Who knew I'd be sitting here talking about this with you on geopolitics? I didn't have a clue. And yet this is the most historical, beautiful, miraculous time in the history. And I'm speechless. Allison, did you have anything you wanted to add, or are you good?
Just a glorious, grateful heart to any and everyone who's contributed, and especially to you, Nancy. You are my rock.
Thank you. You know, we build relationships on a foundation of trust. And a lot of my friends and family don't know why I'm doing what I'm doing. And that's okay, because one day they will. And Tammy says, love you, Allison. Glad you had a nice family visit and made it back today. And she's also doing the happy dance, the head Trump dance. I love it. So amazing. And yes, as I posted, Belinda, so glad you could join us. Had a lunch date with Sharon. Is that one of the 6 of you that watched the show together? Yeah, I don't know. Tammy says hello to you. It's so fun. And Anthony, thank you. I haven't been able to get to your post. Thank you for being here, brother, from another mother. You're just so beautiful. I love you all. And as we move from the 5D reality of the ego into the enlightened mind, we join in projecting and sending love to all the White Hat Alliance across the world and the military and Trump and all the people that's working on the Trump team, all the Kennedys. The Kennedy family could be saving the world. Can you imagine when JFK makes his hologram appearance? We heard he died in, 2021, and he was 104 years old. Did he make that hologram video or some video to tell us what happened before? I'm hoping so. That's what Scott McKay and others were telling us a few years ago. And then JFK Jr. How tragic. We all mourned each one of these people in our lifetimes if we were witnessing it. And yet JFK Jr. could not stay in the public eye because Hillary had a hit out on him. And so his plane blowing up, that he wasn't in it. Caroline wasn't in it. They went on to make more babies, and we don't know how many children and grandchildren of the Kennedys are out there. We love you all. We appreciate you all. And we couldn't be here without Allison managing the techies. Thank you for sliding into home plate and getting everything going. And Wendy, have a great trip. Well, we'll see you before you take off. Oh, and Colleen, so many Canadians were getting some of those EBSs. I don't know if anybody reported on that yet, but I got many messages of Canadians receiving some EBS alerts. So we don't know when. We're prepared. I let go of dates, and I'm looking for events and following the Q posts and the Anons who know much more than I do on piecing those together. So with that, I want to say thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm grateful for the gift of life, of love, of happiness, and prosperity for all humans coming soon. It's going to be a Merry Christmas, and I have no doubt about that. I feel it in my marrow. It tingles in my heart, and it puts a big smile on my face just thinking about it. So let's all align with that. NESARA, JASARA, the RV, all the abundance, so that the ego isn't driven by how to make more money, how to climb to the top in the corporate world. Forget about it. We don't need more corporate generals. We need heart-to-heart, fun-loving relationships. Or at least that's what I want. I don't know about you. But as Abraham would say, life is meant to be fun. And as Jesus Christ himself said, that you will do these things and more than I. So here we are. Are we owning our power? Are we owning our truth? Are we opening our hearts? From my heart to yours, I say thank you for watching. I look forward to seeing you in Hawaii. Please go to the link that Allison shared. I'm not sure she shared it this time. With you can sign up to get my emails from nancykerner.com, or you can email me directly, nancy@nancykerner.com, because if you donate, I need an address to send it back to. Some of you have already donated, and I have your address. So if you're a repeat donor, don't worry about it. I have your addresses. And I'll say, oh, you know what? Belinda says, look, no military over Canada. There's usually military all over the world. She tracks the planes, and follow her on Facebook because that's where she posts them often. Thank you for that. That is awesome. And also Tammy says, praying always for the Alliance and the Kennedys, prosperity for all. Greater works we will do. I love it. Okay, now I need to undo that. Is that one? Yeah. Okay, all you on Rumble, I love you. You're amazing. And Allison, I'm sure we'll close this out with something that gets us either dancing or celebrating in some way. She always comes up with the perfect closing video. So we'll see you on Tuesday if there's anything to report. Before then, we will go live. Aloha. Loving you.
2024 is the final battle. They go after Trump, but if they can get Trump, it means they can get you, they can get me, they can get all of us. He is standing in the way, and that can sound like a campaign slogan, but it's very true. Now we're approaching the most important battle of our lives. Now, for the very first time in American history, a sitting president, DOJ, has indicted his top political rival ahead of a presidential campaign. When they indicted me for nothing, I said, now the gloves are off. Now we have to say if I can do the truth. battle of our lives. If you fuck around with us, if you do something bad to us, we are going to do things to you that have never been done before.
You told me you were drowning. I would not lend a hand. I've seen your face before, my friend, but I don't know if you know who I am. Well, I was there and I saw what you did. I saw it with my own two eyes. So you could wipe out that grin. I know where you've been. It's all been a pack of lies.
You have a problem with someone, you have to go after them. And it's not necessarily to teach that person a lesson. It's to teach all of the people that are watching a lesson.
The last time we ever met, but I know the reason why you keep me silent.
When we get back in the White House, I will totally obliterate the deep state.
The hurt doesn't show, but the pain still grows. Some stranger to you and me.
I don't really want to have peace with these people who did this to us and are continuing to do this to us. We have to turn the tables on them, give them a dose of their own medicine, and then we can even the playing field, and then we can discuss unity.
I hope you enjoyed today's show. You can find me at nancykerner.com on social media, and remember the truth about you. You are a powerful and prosperous person.
The things that make you happy, go do those things. Like right now. What are you waiting for? Go!
Say thank you, thank you, thank you, 'cause I'm so grateful, oh grateful, I'm so grateful, so I want to say thank you for this day.
Light, an ancient form of energy that goes back to the dawn of time. For us, it all begins with the sun, the source of light and life for our entire solar system. Even Einstein concluded that everything we're made of contains light. All life originates with the sun through photosynthesis. Plants and vegetation collect the light, and all living creatures emit light. Humans actually emit infrared light, which can be seen with night vision devices. We've known for centuries that light has many effects on the body. LifeWave's phototherapy patches use light to stimulate the body's natural healing systems, providing specific health benefits. Here's how the technology works. First, a patch is applied to specific points on the body. Where the patch covers the skin, infrared light emitted from the body is reflected back into the tissue. This stimulates the skin, which in turn stimulates specific regions of the brain. The brain then taps into the body's own natural flow of energy and the ability to heal itself. Let's take a look at why this is important on a cellular level. For example, a number of our patch products help counteract free radicals, oxygen molecules that damage cell proteins and contribute to visible signs of aging. When the body is stimulated through phototherapy to release its own antioxidants, these free radicals are neutralized naturally. To find out more, contact your distributor. LifeWave. Live long. Live well.